Raila loved his food and he loved his kienyeji food. He was a picky eater, but he was a good eater. And when he ate, he ate with a lot of love, I think. And and Raila was a traditional man. He used to eat with his hands, and that's something I really admired about him. And he loved his food, and he'll serve you as well. He'll tell you, no, you take this. This is good for you, and he'll do it and with a lot of love and kindness. And that's how he used to relax. And of course, he'll go for a massage or he'll go to the gym at Serena. Most of the time, that's where he used to go. But every town we went to, as long as the hotel had a gym and a massage parlor, he'll go there, just relax, unwind.
Hey there, and welcome to Fanya, Mambo, Africa here at the Alfa house. And of course, it's been a week, days, and I think it's going to be months of celebrating the life of the Honorable Raila Odinga. And to do that today, I had to get someone who's worked with him closely as a press secretary for quite a number of years. He'll tell us how many, and that is none other than Dennis Onsarigo. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
People are asking what it is you're doing for Tinga, Baba.
My story with Raila Odinga goes way back, but before I do that, allow me to once again pass my sincere condolences to the Raila Odinga family and the Raila Odinga extended family that I was part of. We have lost a great leader. We have lost someone we call Dad, and in our circles used to refer to him as Mzee. He was not even Tinga to us. So he's an old good man who was gone to rest. To be honest, personally, I was prepared for Raila Odinga's death, but I was not prepared for Raila Odinga's funeral. Yes, I'll tell you why.
How are you prepared?
Yes. If Raila was to live to 110 years, there's a chance I'll have lived more years than him.
Yeah.
So he could have died at old age, and we could have been prepared for his death, but not his funeral. This was too soon. This was too abrupt, but I guess it is what it is. Yeah.
Wow.
My story with Raila Odinga goes way back, way back to the year 2001.
2001?
Yes. That
you
was
guys
my
have been
first.
buddies that long?
That is the first time I met Raila Odinga during the NAC coalition campaigns. They took me straight from college to go be part of Mwai Kibaki's campaign team. That's when I met him at Mwangi House, where we used to have our media center. Then after that, he disappeared. They went to the government. They fell out with Kibaki. Then we met again in the year 2005, I think. And then I started formally consulting for him in the year 2014. But all through those years, we kept contact.
How would you describe that first meeting of 2001? Because even in 2001, Baba was still a big name.
Baba was a very big name, but it became apparent much later that it was a very big name. It became a big name after he declared Kibaki Tosha in the year 2002 as
Yes.
we went into elections. I think that is the time Raila's name became very prominent and he became at the center stage of Kenyan politics. So that encounter then, that particular time, was not very out of this world. It was like any other politician, but there was something very special about him because he had a very commanding presence and he was a very easy to approach human being. So every time I could run into him at Mwangi House during the campaigns, he was a very lively soul and he was hands-on. Raila was faster than he was when some of the Gen Zs who now look at him as a very old, slow-walking human being or with some slurred speech because, of course, age has caught up with him. Yeah. But that particular time, Raila was a firebrand and he was very good in what he used to do. So then my first encounter was not wow, but his presence was was very present, if there's anything like that.
Very interesting. How did he receive you as a young one? Because people do not get the aspect of how Baba was able to bring in young people, the old, and all this together. How was it for you?
In 2001? No,
Well,
much later.
Maybe much later.
Or
now.
much later. It will shock you that Raila has always been very present in young people's lives, and Raila, as much as he was powerful as he was, in his presence, you are a child to him, or a son or a daughter to him. So he was very approachable, by the way, so and he was always ready to listen. So my very, very first encounter, now to formally consult for him, I was at KTN, I think, when we went to do a presentation for him, because we felt we were young. It was me, Muhammad Ali, and another friend of mine from Tanzania, Kenyan, but who resides in Tanzania, called Kevin Care, and one lovely lady called Michelle. So we went to do a presentation in his office at Capitol Hill. That was 5 years after I had called him when he was Prime Minister. So I didn't get to have a chance to speak to him for a good 5 years. And there were many reasons why that did not happen. But when I finally caught him online, he said, "I'm coming to the city. I wanted to sit down and have a conversation." So we went to Capitol Hill, where he had an office, where he still has an office up until now. And then we did our first presentation. And so when we were done, we asked him, "Mzee, when do you want us to start?" He said, "I want you to start yesterday."
Oh,
so that's
like
how,
that.
that's how we formally then started engaging Raila Odinga and started running a youth program called Kikao, which took us to around 15, 16 counties across the country. And our plan then at that particular time was to youthnize, if there's a word like that, Raila Odinga. So first thing was, how do we embrace youth in our space as politicians and around him? How do we impress upon him as well to start adorning clothes that somehow rhyme with these young people?
Yeah.
And Raila is not your age at that particular time. So it was a big challenge, not for him, but for us to address, to try and have this conversation with him. But when we put across that idea, we said, "Mzee, we think, because we want to run a youth program and you have okayed it, we were thinking we should maybe change how you
Dress.
And
Talk.
he was open to the idea. He said, "What is wrong with my dressing?" We said, "There's nothing wrong with your dressing." And then he laughed about it. He laughed about it. And then he said, "Fine." So what we did, because I was the leader of the team, I went to Karen. I had a conversation with Mama Ida Odinga. Again, she was our mom. We used to call him Mom. And when you're in a house, we're all children to him. He'll send you to the kitchen, then he's go do this. In that compound, he will shout at us. He will say, "Go close the door." You can imagine a home setting for a family. So when we were in that circle, we were all a big family of the Odingas, of Babas. I think I'm trying to jog your memory for you to understand, to paint a picture for you. So I went there. I told Mama, we have an event in Mombasa. It was our first one. And we need you to tell us Mzee's shoe size, Mzee's waist size.
What was her reaction?
She laughed. She said, Mzee packs our own clothes. Yeah, when he's going on a safari, no one packs for him. He does his own packing. As powerful and as prominent as he is, he used to do his own packing. He used to know what to wear. And then she said, "Good luck." We said, "We will try." So we were now armed with the shoe size and the waist size and shirt size, of course. We bought a few attires in Mombasa. So he landed in Mombasa and we met him at his hotel. We said, "Mzee, this is the program for tomorrow. We need you to come in at this particular time. This is what we think you're going to say." And then this is your cue because you're going to play some kind of music at the end of this. And some people will come on stage, and this is how we want things to look like. It was very, very fast. It was a very fast learner, for lack of a respectful word to use. It was very hands-on, and if you told him one thing, he will amplify it. So we started. We said then we were thinking we got some attire for you. We want you to have a look at them, because we had stuck around Mzee for a very long time. We understand his patience, his span of patience.
How big or small?
How big or small. So we knew we had only like 3 minutes to impress him. So we got one outfit which was large, one was small, and one was fitting. So we started with the large one. He went in, changed, he came back, he said, this is too big. We gave him a small one. He came back, he said, guys, this thing is too small. Then he went back and came back with his own attire. He said, but I brought my own things.
Oh.
Yeah, they are here. And nicely packed. Then I told him, we have one more attire. If this does not fit you, then I think we can go with what you have. He said, shoot. He likes to say that, shoot. So we gave him the attire. He went back, he came back, and he was smiling, and we knew, this is it.
You had got it.
Yes. And then now, the only thing we didn't have, which he thought we didn't have, was a cape, a kofia. So he emerged, and they came with his cape, and he said, my heart, the fedora one, no, the one that is round.
Okay.
Remember, this is a short-sleeved polo shirt, khaki pants, and loafers, okay? He had no dress like that for a very long time. And they were colorful, bright colors. That was
Must
not
have
Raila
been
for
orange
you.
at some point.
No, it was blue, a nice blue, nice khaki pants, blue as well. I think the pictures are somewhere online.
Okay.
Because it brought us serious bars around the country. Raila has shown up, and he looks young, and he looks the part. So when he came out, he said, I have a cape. And then we told him, but we have one.
Yeah.
So when we brought it out, he was very, very happy. He said, you guys, you caught me. So that was it.
That was it.
Yeah. So we leave that place, we go for the function, and then because we had initially briefed him and Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho did not go home to change. So when we met up now for this function, Joe is calling me and said, Onsarigo,
you're setting me up.
You set me up. And Amze is dressed younger than, he looks younger than I look. I mean, I said, but Joe, Mheshimiwa, you have your team. Na sisi pia tulikuwa na team yetu. So this was a try. But he was offended, to be honest. But then that is Raila Odinga for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you also play a part in the hair? Because the photos I used to see, I think when I was much younger, he had white hair, and even the beard had some white. Then suddenly, I don't even remember at what point it changed and became black.
No, that is another office. That was not my office, yeah. That was not my office, yeah.
Oh,
That
okay.
was my office.
But you did a good job. You did a good job in that transformation.
I think it was an entire team effort. It was not only me, because we had run these ideas with so many people who had worked with him before, who knew him better than we did. But because we got that chance to work with him, and he gave us that chance to work with him, then that's how finally we brought order around him.
Yeah.
He allowed us to do that. So we kicked an entire journey that brought us all the way to the year 2022.
How are you able to break? Because Raila always had people around him. And some, of course, have been looked as gatekeepers of Mzee. Like, if you really want to get to him, there are people in between. How are you able to break that as young people?
As I said, Raila had a special place for young people in this country, and he had a special place for young people in his life as well. So as long as you had Raila's blessings, then you're as good as home. So yeah, we didn't need to break any barriers for us to get to him. As long as we had access to him, and his access was direct access, phone access, or come to my office, see me, let's do this. And he used to call us his Alfajiri team. So he used to meet every Wednesday at 7 a.m. in the morning. And Raila was a stickler of time, and it was a keeper of time as well. If you agree you're meeting at 7 o'clock, he'll be there at 7 o'clock. The only time he never kept was during rallies, for obvious reasons, because he had so many
What were the
things.
reasons by that? Because he always came in late.
Yeah,
And even
because
when there were national events, he was like, he made grand entrances. And,
exactly. I
and
mean,
we loved it.
No, I mean, you have an answer to that question you asked me. So that was pure politics at play. That was Raila Odinga for you. So show up on stage when everyone has sat. So he used to do it in a very spectacular way. So we cannot ask him why. But your guess is as good as mine. He used to do that because he's a politician. Yeah.
Wow. Quite interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And the dances. Something else that was key for Raila, or for us even as we've grown, and something that I'm sure so many Kenyans will miss, is the music that was done for his political rallies or events. How did that come about? How were the agreements done? Like, how are you even choosing? Do you propose and he says, we like this, we don't? Like, if it's the NASA song, was very nice, for sure.
You know, every election cycle had its own songs.
Yes.
But there are others that we chose, and we will just run an idea with him. I'll give you a classic example. Was during the BBI campaigns, we had done a few meet the people tours across the country, but we felt this BBI conversation was not catching any fire. It was not gaining traction because we will speak to people and we felt that we were speaking to ourselves. So we sat in a room one day, and then we told him, Zay, I don't think people are listening to us as much as we were talking to them. Can we introduce something to these campaigns for BBI? At that time we're in Mombasa. And then yours truly here, this I'll take credit for because I did it. Because I did it with a lot of humility.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it became teamwork. Because, you know, in our circles, the king will always take credit. So as long as Raila Odinga was alive, he's the one who came up with it.
Yeah.
But now that he has departed,
It'll
allow me to say this with a lot of respect and humility. So I went to him and told him, Zay, why don't we say, because that particular time there was a lot of hue and cry about this BBI thing. People were saying, we don't want another BBI. This is a shortcut. We don't want all this nonsense. And then I went to him, I told him, Zay, why don't we say nobody can stop reggae? And then as genius as he was, he said, because reggae is strong. You understand?
Yeah.
Completing the sentence for you.
Yes.
And then he laughed about it. Then he said, fine. At what point do you want me to say this? We had a conversation. We said, as the moment you finish giving your speech, stand up there and say, I want to remind Kenyans that nobody can stop reggae. And then we play the song, and then it caught fire. It was headline news the following day, and then it came the campaign song for BBI. So it was Rero song, but again, we were sitting in the office. We were supposed to have a national delegates conference in Kasarani. I was in the office, and then I was watching some videos on YouTube. I came across this song, and I said, this is a wonderful song. So, but you have to run it through him. So I called him. I told him, there's this song that I've listened to. I think we can, because we're going to Western Kenya, I think it's a song we can adopt and use. But because Raila was a genius more than us, in his head he knew this is going to be my campaign song. So as team, our job was supposed to look for this person who had sung this song. I got in touch with Philip Etale because he's Luya.
Yeah.
I told him, Philip, I'm looking for this guy. His name was Emmanuel Musindi from Western Kenya. I need to talk to him. He got me his number. We called him to Nairobi. We had a chat with him. He told me, I want to use your song. That's how we got it.
Wow.
Yes, but Raila was a genius. So when he listened to the song, because he had a broader understanding of the Luya culture and the Luya language, he knew what to do with that kind of information. So when that song was played at Kasarani, it caught fire. It became our campaign song.
And that was dope.
That was dope, yeah.
Hey, you're a genius too.
Teamwork, again.
You spotted it.
Teamwork. So, but again, you'll come up with an idea like that, but you have an entire team that now sits down and says, okay, fine, what can we do? Because now Other team members said we can produce a video out of this. We shot an entire video. It's online somewhere out of this song. Yeah, you've seen it.
Yes.
It's called Rero ni Rero. Yeah, all those things. So, but other things like the Jamaican farewell that Raila sang about, those things, he used to sing them. You're sitting with them having lunch, he starts singing. And you're like, Mzee, can we record this? He says, yeah, record it. Yeah. And he even has a Swahili version of that Jamaican song.
Oh,
he has it. Yes,
he did.
I'll post it after this interview.
You need to.
I'll post it so that you guys can use it.
Yeah. that song, like today during the event, the state funeral, I mean, that song has been sung by, it was sung, I think, in Parliament when he raised it.
Yeah.
It's been sung by the president.
Yes.
The audience sang. Like it's,
Winnie
I think
sang
even,
also.
I think on YouTube, it will catch fire. The numbers have caught fire today because everyone now is like, which is this song that Raila loved? We even had Simiu, Joachim, he sang the song, and that video we posted, and it just went crazy. Yeah, so that's amazing to hear the human side that Raila was. However, after the Nobody Can Stop Reggae, when the reggae was stopped, what was his reaction?
We kept going. He said the courts have pronounced themselves on this, so we keep going. So this chapter is closed. We open another chapter.
He was easy like that when...
That is Raila for you. I mean, what can you do? The people have rejected, and the courts have spoken. If the courts have spoken, then they've spoken on behalf of the people. So we had to move on. But I think quietly, in his quiet spaces, he will say this was a good thing for the country because he felt we had a fractured society. And I think it's something that has disturbed him until his death. He really wanted a united country. As much as people felt Raila was a very divisive human being who loved chaos, Raila loved order around him, a lot of order around him, but people didn't know that part of Raila Odinga.
But how was he able to thrive successively in the chaos, but still having order? Because I think that's a place most Kenyans never got to. If you're closer, you know there is order. If you're out here, you look at it as chaos. Yeah.
Those of us who worked for Raila Odinga, we had two extremes of supporters. We had very chaotic supporters and very orderly supporters. But
so the chaotic ones were more loud.
Very, very loud.
Yes.
Very, very loud. And I think, but people knew what to do. People knew that when you have state functions, there's a way they conducted themselves. People knew we had rallies in our stronghold. There's a way we conducted ourselves. And to be honest, it was political hysteria for Raila Odinga. And for us, because we were so used to him, we didn't see this, we didn't appreciate this side of him, that how powerful and mysterious and present he was, until people were around him. People will die to greet Raila Odinga, to be around him. And there are times that you'll ask him, say, how do you feel when you see crowds going wild like this? There's a time we were at Uhuru Park and we were done, and then it was crazy. We had invited Ali Kiba from Tanzania to come and perform during our final rally. And then I think that was the largest crowd we ever pulled, I think, at Uhuru Park. And it was crazy. It had fireworks, everything. It was crazy. So when we got home, I asked him, say, what was going on through your mind? Because I felt like his spirit left his body just to get part and take part in these celebrations. I asked him, he said, for once I felt I should leave where I was sitting to go join those young people in the crowd. Wow. Yes. So that was Raila Odinga for you. Yeah. So in that chaos, order prevailed. So when order was supposed to prevail, it prevailed. And again, that was the Raila way. Yeah. These are people he had worked with since 80s. Where do you want him to take them? Yeah.
And they loved him for
They loved him, that way. And remember, there are young people in Raila circles who are now 50, 60 years, who go to where Raila goes every single day, and no one pays them.
How was he able to build that sort of, following that is very genuine and still doesn't lose his charisma for it?
I think Raila was a reliable politician, and his word was his currency. And that's what I liked about Raila Odinga. And he was very loyal to his ideas. He was very loyal to people who have stood by him. I'll give you an example of people he was jailed with, and he was always with them. He gave them positions in the party. People stood by him when he was sick. He was always with them. So he built this fanatical base and following around him because he also kept his word. And as much as, let's say, for example, he became prime minister, he never discarded his private security team. He never did. They were there during presidential functions.
Yeah.
They were there during church functions. They were there during funeral functions. And even police commanders used to have a conversation. They used to say, "Fine, we have our team, but we're also aware that Raila's team is here."
Yeah.
So they know what to do. They know what to do. And they knew it. And let me give you a quick example. Every time, let's start from Mwai Kibaki as president when he went to Kisumu, Uhuru Kenyatta as president when he went to Kisumu, and lately William Ruto as president when he went to Kisumu. If you pull up those videos, it is only in Kisumu or Nyanza region where supporters of Raila Odinga or any other ordinary Kenyan is able to run alongside a presidential motorcade, the official vehicle of the president. They run alongside this, they can even touch it. It's only in Kisumu, not any other part of this country. That is the level of passion these people have for Raila Odinga, the Luo community for Raila Odinga. And that passion is born out of, I think, loyalty more than anything else. So that cannot happen anywhere else. So I think a conversation goes on. At the moment the president gets to Kisumu, people are told, just relax, nothing will happen here. As much as you have your job to do.
Yeah.
But these people, when they love you, they love you. And remember, this is William Ruto, who could not go to Kisumu before he became president.
Yeah.
And now he becomes president and is welcomed. And people are like, what 360
what happened?
degree turn is this? Yeah. So, but that is Raila's support base. And that was Raila everywhere across this country. Yeah.
He was a man who's loved by everyone, and it's very interesting it was so interesting to actually watch him and the things that he was able to do with people. Something else that was very interesting was amidst all this chaos, there was the security, but then there was the goons, but then there was the goons security. I don't know how even to define that. How are you able to work with him knowing we have goods, but we have security that controls these goods? Like, how did that go about?
We never refer to them as goons. But now they're orphans. They're Baba's orphans because he has left them. There was an understanding. We had the top security man. His name was Job. He was known and feared across the country. Even politicians knew him. But somehow they got to work. They were very professional to us. They were very, very professional to us. But they were also very lethal to other people. Yeah. When they were called upon to be lethal. But those orders never came from Raila. They never came from him. And I think as Raila got a bit old and started aging, he really, really he did not want noise around him. And it used to disturb him a lot when he used to see, for example, people being roughed up or police pushing people back or beating them up. He will stand up and shout about it and say, "No, I don't want you guys to do this. Let them be." So that was Raila Odinga for you as he aged. But I think in another life when he was young, I was not there. I think Raila must have been a very cheeky human being.
Must be.
Yeah, must have been a very cheeky human being.
I mean, for you to try
I think he loved...
Maybe have a coup, because there's a story about that. There must be a level of chickiness.
I'm telling you, and I think he loved that environment of disorder,
mystery and disorder.
Yes, I think he loved it when he was young.
Yeah.
But I think as he got a bit old and appreciated that maybe things have to change, then he became a father figure. He transitioned from just being called Raila Odinga to Baba, and they loved it. Yes.
Okay. What are some of the say unique but unique but cheeky stories that he shared with you about his young life?
Many. I think there were many stories, but there's one he shared with me. I think he had fled the country and went to Uganda before he got a passport to flee to Norway, I think, where he went to exile. And he gave us a very interesting story that I think he spent like a month in the sea, or a few weeks in the sea. And then, so in the ship as you travel, because in the high seas, that's what he said. In the high seas, he told me this story in the presence of Junet Mohammed, and I was just listening. And yours truly, I've always been a fly on the wall because,
Agreed.
they used to view me as this young, harmless human being. But because I was a good journalist, so I used to keep these things at the back of my head. So he told us this story where they had to do a ritual every time they go into the high seas, and they think now this is the end. So they'll go get water buckets, get water from the sea, do a few rituals. It's something that seafarers used to do. I think they do it, and then the sea will calm down, and then they'll continue with the journey. But he will laugh about it. He really used to laugh about it. But in my head, I'm like, this must have been a very terrifying moment for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in some ship to nowhere. Oh, you're going to Norway, yes. But it must have been very difficult for you. And then another interesting story is when I flew with him to Busia for public function there. And then I had a run-in with his bodyguard. And because what we used to do in the morning, everyone used to do his job. So yours is to protect Raila Odinga. Mine is to brief him. Okay?
Yeah.
That the roles were defined like that. So I get in the chopper. We were only three of us in the chopper. So Mzee used to sit in the front, and then we sit at the back. Bodyguard on the right, because he had to be in a place where he could see him. So he needs something. The bodyguard must. Raila used to turn like a statesman. When he turns, he really turns with so much grace. So it's up to you to understand why is Raila turning.
Yeah.
What does he want? And I think he did it not because he loved it, but he did it because unconsciously, I don't think he understood. I don't think he really appreciated how graceful he was when he used to do such things. Because every time we'll sit in a room and he turns, everyone will turn. So no one is looking at him, but everyone is turning and wanting to know why is Raila turning. So is it me? Is it who? Is it? Then he'll say something. He'll mumble things, but somehow it's up to us to figure out what did he want. But he has already communicated. Okay. So we had I had a run-in with one of the bodyguards because I had passed my phone to him to have a look at some notes that I'd prepared for him. Because before we went for public function, I used to do notes for him.
Yeah.
I do notes, and then he ran through them. He will memorize a few of them. He will add his own things, and then because we had to figure out what is going to be covered at the end of the day. What do you want the media to know at the end of the day? So he was the biggest voice in the room. So he's the man we used to give. We tell him, we are going to this location. I think this is what you should say to resonate very well with the people there. And it will have an effect nationally if it goes into the news. You understand?
Yeah.
Political strategies.
Of course.
Yes. So when I gave him the phone, Mzee was eating a sandwich. So the bodyguard got a bit agitated and he said, why don't you let him eat? So I shouted at him. He shouted back at me because I'd had it. Because again, in the past, we'd had a run-in again as well. You know, I thought Mzee did not hear all this commotion. I thought so. So he looked at the phone, put it down. He took the sandwich and cut it into two. He gave me a piece. I ate it. I think in his head he was trying, you young man, you just calm down, just shut up. Yes, you can't talk with your mouth full or something like that. Because I was really agitated. So when we landed, he told the bodyguard, go get me my jacket. So he went back. So the bodyguard had no choice but to tell me, take care of Mzee, let me come. Okay? Yeah, I mean, we just walk with him, let me come. Just watch over him, let me come. So it was just a short distance to where he was going to meet some group of people. We met a group of people and then we left because there were not many people there. So when we were walking, Mzee said, that's how you fight for your space.
Hey!
Yes.
Wow.
And then he gave me the story of young Turks. He said when his father and other leaders were fighting for democracy, they were very young at that particular time. So they also were fighting for their space. So they became to be known as the Young Turks. So if you read up on it, you'll understand what that meant. So he said that's how we became popular, because we fought for our space around these older politicians in the country. That's how Akina Orengo were born, Akina Paul Mwita were born. So that's how the Young Turks came about. So when I said, okay, this was wise. So in my head, I was like, he sent him back to pick the jack so he can tell me this. Yeah, cheeky man, but he had passed his information. Yeah, very, very wise. Yes.
Hey, and you've really fought for that space onwards.
You have to fight for it. I mean, people keep on saying that, Raila is old, why can't he groom someone? I mean, leadership is never given. You take it.
By force.
Yeah, it's never given. If you want leadership, you go for it. You declare yourself president, of course, illegally, but people will embrace you formally. Yeah.
Yeah, and you become the people's president.
You become people's president, yeah. So that was Raila for you. That was his side. That was the cheeky side of Raila Odinga, but very, very, very wise as well. But Raila's view about death was also very, very interesting, because he used to tell me that you cannot choose how you will die. Okay?
Yes.
But you can try and influence how you want to be remembered. Very profound. And I don't know if this 72-hour deadline he gave us is how he wanted to be remembered. Okay? But something very interesting also he used to say, it intrigues him what happens in yonder when people die. Because he said, what time will you arrive on the other side? Will you arrive at 1 o'clock? Will you arrive at 3 o'clock?
Might be 5 p.m.
Yeah, 5 p.m. What will the others be doing? Will they be going for lunch? What kind of conversations will these people be having when you get there? Where will you find them?
As President Uhuru said.
Yes.
Their discussions. What are they discussing?
What are they discussing? Yeah. As Uburu said, when you go there, say hello to Jaramogi, say hello to our brothers who also went before us. So he used to say that, and then he will laugh about it. So,
do you think he feared death?
Zero. Nothing.
None?
No.
Even when it was chaotic?
Nothing.
When he was being targeted, especially during Maandamano?
Nothing. Mzee never feared death. In fact, we were afraid for him more than he was afraid for us. Yeah. Mzee never feared death. I mean, something got into him every time he was facing such things. I think the only time he was concerned about his life, the only time that I spoke to him was when his chopper was stoned somewhere in Rift Valley. Yeah. And I called him that night and he said, this was bad. Yeah, this was bad. And I had a feeling, oh, okay, this must have touched him, because he was really concerned. Why should people stone a chopper? And he said, this was bad. And that's the only time he addressed an incident like that. But any other incidents, he never addressed them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. When now, out of curiosity, when especially, let's do the recent one, 2023 Maandamanos, the Sufuria gang time, because he used to call for Maandamano and people will show up from, say, 8, 9, and then he shows up at somewhere around noon, 1. In between, what conversations were you having? And what was his feeling when he saw? Because, of course, he knows it's happening and people are waiting for him. And they'll walk with him all the way to, I don't know, Embakasi, Thika Road, wherever.
It was a cat and mouse game, because I think there were plans to have him arrested. There were plans to have him harmed. So some of that information was not, we were not privy to that information. And sometimes we'll think he has left car and he has not left.
Yeah.
Maybe he has left in a different car. So he'll show up in places where we didn't expect him to show up. So most of the times we never got to interact with him during those maandamanos. We just find him, he's already at Serena. We don't know how he got to Serena.
So
Or
as
we
the press
changed route.
secretary, what was your worry in terms of even the messaging at that point?
No, our plan was to get into town. There was no messaging. Our plan was to get into town most of the time. Our plan was, that was the assignment of the day. And that was not in my place. I was not asked to message for anything. Our assignment was get into town. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
When you did campaigns across the country, because it was huge, and of course he was aged, how was he handling these things? Because sometimes you have to do like 5 stops in a day, maybe 7. How was he handling that?
I have never seen a man who has so much energy like Raila Odinga. I think he used to sleep the last person, and he was the first person up at 5 a.m. in the morning. He had time for the gym every single day in the morning. And he could see fatigue wearing us off most of the time. And he will say, I know you guys are tired, but we need to keep going. But not a single day did he say, this is, I've been burnt out, I can't do this. Not a single day. But people fell on the side. So many of them, including leading figures, politicians around him. They could not hack it.
He had more energy.
He had more
and vigor.
energy than, and I'm not saying this because out of respect or out of fear. No, I'm just telling you, Raila Odinga had so much energy, it surprised us. Because you'll tell him, Mzee, tomorrow we have an interview at 7 a.m. And citizens are coming home. And he'll call you at exactly 6, and he will say, can they be here at 6:30 instead of 7? And you're like, in your head, you're like, I've not even left my house. I was supposed to be there at 7. So he had, and you had parted ways at around 1 or 2 in the night. And this is an aged man, but he was up. He was up and about. I have never seen someone with that kind of energy like Raila Odinga. Never, ever. And it was always a switched on every election cycle. And it was very, very intense. If you look at the program, he'll say, no, we need to start from the farthest corner, and then we come all the way to the nearest, to the center of town.
Wow, that's
yeah. But he had the comfort, of course, of riding in a chopper, so
Yeah.
it was easy for him. But again, there are times we rode in the chopper until you dream and hear the sounds of the chopper. So I wondered, how did he do it? Because at the time we flew from Nairobi, went to Samburu, left Samburu, went to Kisumu, left Kisumu, I don't know went where, and went to Machakos in a span of, I think, 2 or 3 days. And it was crazy. It was crazy. So I wondered, how did he do it? Because we used to sleep in these choppers, and it's so many hours covering the entire breadth and depth of this country. Yeah.
Interesting to learn that. It would be also interesting to know, once you're done with campaigns, how was he relaxing? What conversations was he having? Maybe late in the evenings?
Raila loved his food, and he loved his kienyeji food. He was a picky eater, but he was a good eater. And when he ate, he ate with a lot of love, I think. And Raila was a traditional man. He used to eat with his hands, and that's something I really admired about him. And he loved his food, and he'll serve you as well. He'll tell you, no, you take this. This is good for you, and he'll do it, and with a lot of love and kindness. And that's how he used to relax. And of course, he'll go for a massage, or he'll go to the gym at Serena. Most of the time, that's where he used to go. But every town we went to, as long as the hotel had a gym and a massage parlor, he'll go there, just relax and wind. And then, of course, once in a while, he will have a glass of wine. Once in a while.
Just wine.
Yes.
Uhuru speaking earlier spoke of uji, and we were all like, really?
Yeah, I don't know what President Uhuru meant by uji, but I know Mzee loved having 1 or 2 glasses of wine, and that's it. He used to call it a night. But yeah.
The other thing, and that would be very, very interesting for many people to understand, would be why why was Serena so monumental for him? For anything. Even sometimes when we shot him at
At
Serena.
Serena.
Yes.
To be
2
honest,
times, in fact.
I don't have an answer for that because I never did ask him about it. But I think because of the historical perspective of Serena, maybe many things have happened there. Maybe that could have been the reason, because initially it used to be this building in town. That's where they used to have press conferences. What is the name of this building?
Chester House?
Chester House in the 90s. But I don't know then why he decided to go to Serena, but it's a place he has always loved to go to, not only to relax, but also have his meetings. In 2017, after elections, in 2022, after the elections, we went to Serena to have lunch just after voting. We sat there, we had lunch, and he was making calls and calling people across the country, asking them, did you go and vote? How was the voting? And we sat there for a very long time. So there's something about him and Serena, but I'm sorry, I never got a chance to ask him why Serena.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because we saw him lose elections 5 times.
He never
or
lost
so.
an election. Yeah.
That's why I said, so it was said.
Yes.
How did he take this loss, and how did it affect him on a personal level? Now, leave alone like ODM or NASA coalition as a whole.
It will shock you that Raila Odinga took every election loss as a challenge to run again. I had the privilege of working for him for 2 elections, 2017 and 2022. And in the 2017 elections, when we were robbed of our victory because I think the Supreme Court nullified the election, so at least we can have a conversation around it.
Yeah.
That there was no election, that's what it was nullified. Or the process of electing a leader was shambolic.
Yeah.
When at midnight we had agreed now we have lost this election, we need to address the nation. A speech was worked on. He was given by his speechwriter Dennis Onyango. Then he stood up and said, I have not lost this election. The country has lost. That was very profound coming from him. And then the following day, so we dispersed. We went home, woke up the following day. I was in Karen at 7 in the morning. It was very confusing for me, to be honest. There was no one at home. It was me, Mzee and Mama Aida. We were having breakfast in their small dining area. They had a big one and a small one. And then I told him, Mzee, I think I'm confused. I mean, this is what do we do? Then he said, there's nothing insurmountable, Dennis. We start again.
Yeah. Just like that?
Yeah, we start again. We were robbed, but we have to start again. In 2022, when we lost again the elections, I went home, and this was major. So I find myself in Karen. No one was there again, but there's a group of Maasai leaders who had come from, I think, Kajiado. And they were very old men, and some of them were crying and saying, "This was it. This was the only chance for us, for you to do something for us, for Azimio la Umoja to do something for the country." And then he said, "This is difficult, but we will get over this. We'll get over this." So if the elections affected him personally, he never told us. He had this ability not to hide his feelings, but he had this ability to put things in compartments. We have lost an election, yes. We were robbed, and I think he came from that point of view that this thing was stolen from us. We didn't lose it, so we have to do better. So that's what happened in 2013, happened again in 2017, happened again in 2022, happened again in 2007. I mean, if it were me, I mean, I'll have gone mad by now.
So
yeah, but that was Raila for you.
That's a lot of grace, though.
Yes.
Wow. Out of these elections, then we had, over the years, we've had what is now called handshakes. Did he tell people that this was going to happen, or were you people saying, no, we cannot work with these enemies who stole from us, or were you also seeing it in the news like the rest of us?
No, it will prepare us. Those who who needed to know knew. Yeah, that he's having a conversation with Uhuru Kenyatta, for example. He will hint, he will tell us. But that was politics. And those who were around him and used to do politics for him, they were private with these conversations. I don't think Raila woke up one day and went to Harambee House and shook Uhuru Kenyatta's hand and it became news. No, it's a conversation that was had, I think. And I think it has been on record that he told his fellow principals about it. I don't know if they remember the infamous swearing in at Uhuru Park.
Yes.
Where,
never forget that.
where his fellow principal said he didn't call them. But he said, I privately said, I called them. I told them I'm going to Uhuru Park, but they chickened out. They didn't show up. But Raila will not go to the press and say, no, you guys, I called you. And I told you I'm going to Uhuru Park. So, but that was Raila for you. He moved on. He just kept on moving on, build something, and then, and shock of shocks, Raila was this guy who will leave us in a house to go and get our most sworn enemy into the house.
How did that make you feel? Generally,
we were mad. Some even used to express their displeasure in his presence. But he will say, we need numbers. We need numbers. I've had instances where one of our sworn enemies was, one of our staff members was asked to disembark from a flight so that we can, one of our sworn enemies used to hurl insults at Mzee and say many things about him and betrayed us to get in the plane. And people were like, no, and they were rambling as they were walking away, but that was Raila for you. We have work to do. He's back. This person is back. He's in our fold. We have an election to win. We need to keep moving. So Raila was never petty. So we keep moving.
In such a scenario, what were the conversations in that?
Heated conversations. That's where those other teams will come in and say, no, this time this person will not get near Mzee. But no, Mzee will make sure that he gets near him. And when he pronounces himself on a situation like that, it is done. We don't ask again. And in the long run, we came to understand, okay, this is the reason why this person came back. Yeah, this is the reason why this person came back. Let me tell you something that happened in 2022. We were in a room having a conversation about the campaigns. And then Babamon was the one who was cheering it. And then one of our opponents, now turned ally, said, in 2017 when we won the elections.
And you were together in that meeting.
Someone said, no, you didn't win these elections. And then someone said, but now we're in the same team.
So we're working for it now.
Yeah, but Mzee said, yeah, that is true. You didn't win it, but now we are here. So we are now one team. But it was very clear in his head that you didn't win the elections. But now we are here. We are one coalition. Now we need to do this. So such instances were there where there was open defiance, but in a very respectful way. But and Baba will embrace them and say, just speak. He used to say, Kohoa. Kohoa to say all you have to say it here so that we address it. And he never feared to be asked things, and he'll answer them. And he had an answer for every question you'll ask him. That was Raila for you.
Do you think this defiance came from also seeing Raila being defiant in a way of having free expression? So that I'm not here thinking I'm with Raila Odinga, I can't say this because,
I think because he was a champion of free speech, he was a champion of democracy, so people felt it is okay for us to express ourselves in his presence. And he also embraced it because he said, if you have something to say, say it. Just say it. And many times you'll call him and say, it tells you, tell me. Just say it. We can do it, we do it. We can't do it, we can't do it. Just say it. But rarely will he tell you will not do it. 99% of the time he'll say, I will do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Of course, for you people who've been close to Raila, obviously there are lessons from this Raila Academy, so to say. What would you say stood out for you, or even for the team? Because it was, as you said, you've insisted teamwork a lot. What are the lessons taken from the academy?
I think the biggest, from Raila Odinga school of politics, that's what we used to call it, the biggest lesson I learned is two-pronged. One, patience and resilience. Raila was a very patient human being. He grounded us to be patient. In 2017, when we lost the elections and the Supreme Court pronounced itself and said we are going to have a repeat election in 60 days, we were up in arms. We said we are not going to take part in these elections. So the messaging was we will not take part in these elections, and there will be no elections. No, there will be elections, but we will not take part in these elections. So it was confusing from the media. What do you mean?
Yeah.
That there will be elections, but you will not take part in these elections. What does that mean? So we toyed with that idea, and then one day we went and saw him, and we told him, "Zay, if we have to go for these repeat elections, then let us please, if you can, tell the public that we will not have these elections in our regions." But that was the hot-blooded us, young and careless, young and bold, thinking that you can do what you want to do. They looked at us and said, "But you guys, we have only one country. So if we deny Uhuru Kenyatta a chance to go for these repeat elections, then we'll deny him political legitimacy to run this country. Then he can't run it. So a few sections of the country will vote for him. What about the rest of the country?" So, but he said, I'm going to think about it. But we knew that was a no from him. And then a few days later, he's in a church function, I think in somewhere in Nyanza. He said, "I'm asking my supporters to stay at home, but the elections can go on." And we were defeated. So the elections went on. I think Uhuru Kenyatta voted for himself, and he was re-elected again as president.
It was a very interesting time. I remember that time I was in the newsroom, and it was a very confusing period.
Yeah, it was exactly. So that was Raila for you. So resilience as well. He taught her to be resilient, to be honest, in the face of defeats, in the face of harassment, in the face of everything else. He taught her to be very resilient. And then thirdly, for me, I learned something from him, because Mzee used to say, you can't afford to be petty, and you cannot afford to discuss people. Yeah, you can't afford. In life, you can never afford to be petty, because it consumes you, it wastes your time. And that is the first thing he told me in 2014.
Yeah, that's profound.
Yeah, very profound. He told me that. And I learned, and that has been part of my life. Okay, I discuss people because I'm a politician and
of course,
and
that's
journalist.
In politics.
Yeah, but when it matters most, don't be petty and don't discuss people. It consumes you, it eats you up. Yeah.
Deep. Why do you think he was big on institutions like IEBC, judiciary, and basically just constitutionalism?
Because he used to say they will outlive us. Yes, these institutions will outlive us. And he was a believer that if you've been given a responsibility, especially a public responsibility to do something, then you have to deliver. And I remember there's a time we were involved in the selection of IEBC commissioners, and these were, quote unquote, our nominees to the commission, but these people betrayed us. So when we were banging tables and saying these people betrayed us, he said, "No, they have not betrayed you, they have betrayed themselves, because they had a calling. We had 40 million Kenyans, but somehow 2, 3, 4 of them were chosen to be commissioners. So they had a duty to do, and they never did it. So every time something never worked, not every time we felt this institution did not do what it was supposed to do, we will say, disband this thing, let's get something else until it works. But in the people's heads, they were like, do we have to create a commission that can elect Raila Odinga? No, we used to say, no, that is not the point. The point is, this is a public office. Yeah. You've given you a job to do. Deliver. You have a duty, you have a civic duty. There's a reason why you raise the Bible and say, I'm going to be true to the Constitution, at least, and the people of the Republic of Kenya. So when you don't get to do it, you have to leave the office. Let's get someone else who can do the job. So he believed, let's create institutions. Let's create powerful and strong and accountable institutions, because tomorrow you will not be here. Yeah, and he used to say, you guys, Dennis, you're a journalist. Tomorrow you'll not be a journalist. Because you have access now, you have access to politicians, you have access to the police, you have access to information, you're able to call and put in a word for your family. What if tomorrow you're not a journalist? Then what happens? What if tomorrow you're not a prime minister? Then what happens? But if you have a functioning judiciary, a functioning police force, a functioning IBC, then you know that you'll find justice in the corridors of justice. You'll find justice in electing the leader that you want to elect. So that was Raila Odinga for you with institutions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think Raila has lived to see the Canaan he wanted for Kenya?
To be honest, I think no. But I think this was the final lap for him to see a more cohesive and united country. I think he had gotten to a point where he said, fine, maybe I will not run again for president, but I want to live a more united and cohesive country. Because there were calls, oh, Raila will abandon this, oh, Raila will get to 2027 and run again. I don't think so.
You think he was done?
No, it was done. It was done. Not from politics, but
Yeah,
it was
of course.
done from active political office. It was done. It was done. In my own subjective, because a few times that I had a conversation with him since 2022, I had a feeling he had gotten to a point where he said, not to quote him because he never said it out aloud, but in my head, I felt from his conversation, I used to pick something like, we will not be here for a very long time, so we need to leave a more united country. We can't continue fighting. We can't continue getting divided on these tribal lines. Something must give. So I think that's how he got in touch with, that's how him and President William Ruto got in touch and said, then let's try and move this country forward. Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever have a conversation with him about the whole change of, let's call it regime, of the Gen Z, and what he saw from it and the future he expected now that he saw there were so many now millions of Railas fighting for a better Kenya?
Let me tell you something that many people don't know about Raila Odinga, that during the Gen Z movement, Raila Odinga personally gave his resources for these Gen Zs to get water on the streets and food.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes. But he got to a point, he said, we can't continue fighting on the streets. These young people have to come on a table. But the Gen Zs wanted to overturn the dinner plus the table. They didn't want to listen. And I understand. They're in this room having this conversation with us. And I understand. Because they didn't want. They were leaderless, tribeless, and that's what they wanted. But you will sit in a room and say, fine, that is what you want. But then you must engage with an entity. And this entity is a duly elected government in power. You can engage with it through a dialogue, go to Bomas, go to Kasarani, have a conversation on how you want this country to be run. And it can only be run through law. A country recognizes policies and papers, but a country that recognizes any other thing is anarchy, according to him. So he had gotten to that point where it is okay to agitate. It's okay to be on the streets. It is wrong to be shot at. It's wrong to be killed by the police. Yeah. But it is time to sit and have a conversation. And I think when he said, I've listened to you and I've heard you mnasema baba akae nyumbani, he actually meant it. So when Gen Z salimiaed him on his phone and they were blowing his phone, it was like, I think he was like, did I miss something? Yeah. Because he just spoke from his heart. It was not even scripted when he said at KICC that we need to have a dialogue as a country. And indeed, Raila believes, and I think even in his death, he believes this country has never had a dialogue with itself. It has never had a dialogue.
But that is true.
Yeah, it has never had a dialogue
We
with
can
itself.
only say the face
exactly.
the truth. Yeah.
And I'm afraid as we go forward, this country must have a dialogue with itself. Because I feel that this country is built on a lie.
So many lies.
Yes.
Every day you read things, you're like...
Yeah, and this country is built on quicksand. Yeah, it is just put together by the spirit of the Kenyan people, which is waning every day. Yeah, so I think from where he sat, and because age has caught up with him, he become wiser and more relaxed, and his view about life, and because I had this conversation with him when he lost the AU commission, the AU chair position, and again with so much grace, he said we prepared well, but we didn't get it, and that's it. So I feel that I think he didn't get to the Canaan he wanted. It didn't give us the Canaan he had promised us, but I think he built so many structures for us to build on from. So it is up to the political class to allow this young generation also to have a conversation. But we cannot have a conversation with blood in our hands.
That's true.
We can't.
Now you've spoken
Yes.
genuinely from your heart.
Exactly. We can't have a conversation with blood in our hands. We must sit and have a conversation as
That's
a country.
true.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, it's just the timing, but the truth is the conversation must come at some point.
Exactly.
I want to ask you a very sort of controversial question, and it's not just for Raila Odinga, but when Raila Odinga died, this I'm asking because you're a journalist by training, by around 9 a.m., people knew the message was out. However, for mainstream, took them another 2 hours, I think, to announce. Same with CDF Ogola. From where you sit, considering we are in a tech generation, how should this, what are the protocols that we should be observing, or should we accept that the time for protocols is out and just...
Let me tell you, we are a country among a community of nations.
Yes.
And these things are done like that world over. Yeah. Raila Odinga was not an ordinary human being. And the moment he died, he was taken over by the state. His death became a state problem. So it was up to the president to announce his death. As much as we knew about it, because I was at Nation Center at 7 a.m. in the morning when I got the news. I sat there. I knew Mzee had died. I saw people going into the studio trying to confirm. Some even called me. I said, yes, he has passed on. But State House is saying they are going to announce it. So we had to wait. So, but again, in the wisdom of, I think, of the president, he said, what should I do first? Announce, or I go condole with the family of Raila Odinga? And I think that was very wise from him to go and condole with Mama Ida. And that condoling took a bit of time. Then he had to come back again, convene a cabinet, convene the National Security Council, and then have a conversation about it and say, how do we go about it? And I think that was a masterstroke, to be honest, from the president.
Moving forward, how do you feel such death announcements should be made? Because then there's a lot of public speculation, or is it anxiety that goes on in terms of the protocols we have world over? Maybe here in Kenya is a bit different because
Let me tell you, my friend, because
if you're a news editor, how would you handle it? Or if you are the president, let's say, God forbid, one of our leaders who is very, passes, what should be the situation like?
I think media should invest more in sources. Yeah.
Sources.
If they had invested more in sources, they could have gone with the story. There were doubts. Has it happened? Has it not happened? Yes. There were doubts. And because this death had occurred far away, there were doubts. But my time and your time when you were a journalist, I think we had, let's say, a bit of bold news bosses who will go with the story like that. Because I think if it was back in 2017, 2005, we'll have gone with this news. Because, I mean, we had this conversation and we had this news as early as 7 in the morning. But I think going forward, there must be a quicker way than of announcing this, going about these protocols. But again, remember, government is like a ship. It turns so slowly, but it's fast as a jet as well. When government wants to be government, it can be government in a second. When government wants to drag its feet, it can drag its feet forever. But I think this is an opportunity then for the state and the media to have a conversation about protocols. what goes first? When should we announce this? And again, in death, it's an opportunity for politics, and it's a loss for politicians as well. And remember, 1% of people are on social media. So 99% of people out there were waiting to hear from a radio or a TV station. Yeah, all the things you're saying on social media, it is fine. Mimi niko kwa shamba yangu, nangoja kusikia kwa radio Raila amekufa. Citizen wametangaza, then I believe it.
Yeah. Okay. But we all agree the protocols need to be reworked, sort of.
I mean, like yesterday.
Okay, good. Okay, as we come to a conclusion, how would you describe Raila's legacy? I know there are no exact words or minimal words or statements, but how would you describe his legacy and what will live with you, like for life, perhaps?
To be honest, I have no words to describe Raila's legacy because it will take years to do this. But personally, I'm glad that I didn't live at the time when I heard about Raila Odinga. I experienced him personally and up close. And it's a conversation I can have with my kids, and my kids can have a conversation with their kids. And it will be a generational thing that my father worked for Raila Odinga and he knew him personally. So I experienced this man. Raila Odinga is not like a far away Nelson Mandela for me. Raila Odinga is as present as Mahatma Gandhi was to Indians when they were with him. So for me, that is the biggest lesson I've learned from that. I was here, I experienced this man, and he impacted me in a very large way. In terms of legacy, the jury is still out there. I think as we move forward as a country, you will start understanding that indeed his legacy is here to stay, and it will be shaped by many other events that are likely to happen. We are going into an election for the very first time in 30 years without a Raila Odinga candidature. In 30 years. It's going to be crazy. It has never happened.
I actually don't know how to...
Exactly.
All my life has been
we don't know.
opposition.
We don't know because he shaped politics in a way we never thought. But what I'm so glad about this event is that two things have merged at the end of the day. Raila phobia and Raila mania.
Yeah.
These two forces have merged during Raila's death. That those who feared this guy so much, and those who loved him, and those who were hysterical about him, have come together for them to understand that indeed behind this person, beyond this rhetoric about Raila being a mganga, Raila being a mean guy, Raila being all those things, and I think something I should address quickly. People used to say Raila mkono gumu, that akona nyoka kwa mfuko. Actually, when he puts his hand in the pocket, hiyo nyoka yake na muuma, I can't give you anything.
Did you see the snake?
Yeah, there was no snake. Because I have never seen someone who was so in touch with people's issues like Raila. I lost my dad, and not because I was working for him or was consulting for him, but I saw another side of Raila very few people knew about. He'll call you and say, I have heard you have lost your father. Okay. Where do you want me to come to your house now? Or I let you prepare yourself? Then you let me know. Then you call him and tell him, say, you don't have to come to my house in Nairobi, but if you find time, come for my father's funeral. He says, that goes without saying, I'll come. And then he follows up 2, 3 days, 5 days later. It was not only, I thought it only happened to me, but it used to happen to so many people around him. Raila, you go to his house, he has a pen and a piece of paper, he's writing some numbers from his phone. You ask him, do you need help? He said, no. I want you guys to send money to this mother. Her name is, I don't know who, from Turkana. I've known this lady from 1991. And our grandchildren are in university, so they need school fees. I need them to be sent for M-Pesa. Or someone has died, and he'll say, take this money to this, but don't announce it. Don't announce it. So we made a blunder in 2022. We went to him and we told him, we're getting a lot of flack that we don't give money to people who are bereaved. He said, you people have a problem. Why will you want to announce helping someone? Yeah, don't. And it made a lot of sense. So for me, the biggest legacy then is, to be honest, it is still out there.
It's for
still
the
out
people
there.
to decide.
It's still out there, yeah.
Take whatever you can.
Take whatever you can and run with it. But I'll take resilience and patience from this man.
Wow. I'm super grateful that, Dennis, you agreed to come and share part of Mzee with us. We totally appreciate. Of course, so sorry for the loss. It must be very personal for us. Of course, imagine we're feeling this and we were not even friends. So it must be heavy on you and the team. But as they say, the king has died, but the crown lives on. And that is what we want for Raila Odinga. And certainly that is it for Raila Odinga, a man cherished by many, loved by country, stood for country, did everything for country at heart. Totally appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I hope you learned a thing or two from Dennis, and now you understand who Raila Odinga was. For the Gen Zs, who are many on this channel, that is the man we're talking about. I hope you had a bit of what it is. And by the way, he did a book. People can read. Is it available?
Yes. The book is available in our bookshops. And I'm also doing a book about Raila Odinga that will be coming out next year. Yeah.
Looking forward.
I've been with this man for 20 years now.
Yeah.
Surely we should document something about him.
Yeah, you should. That's great to hear.
So let people read about this man. The books are out there. Go online, read about him. And let's debunk this myth and mystery about Raila Odinga.
I think you should also work with guys to stage plays, because we have to immortalize the man.
That's true.
By all means.
That's true.
Yeah. So thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next episodes.